Sport, everybody. As you see around me, it is time to talk Buffalo Bills football. You see the logos? Today we are presented by Northeast Roofing Professionals. NERPCNY.com. You want something done on your roof, especially if you live in Fayetteville or DeWitt in the surrounding areas. These are you guys. They're fantastic. We don't bring anybody to the table that isn't fantastic, terrific, stupendous, all those things, okay? So go see our friends at Northeast Roofing Professionals. Today's video brought to you by our friends at Sharkies, who before too long, as spring is getting closer to springing around here, I hope. We've had some nice 40-degree weather here in central New York. They'll be having those concerts in their outdoor venue. That's going to be a blast. Go see our friends at Sharkies, and we'll hear a little bit more from our friends at Sharkies in just a little bit. Well, you see him there on the screen with me. Talks Bills with us every single week from Cover One. It's the one, the only Anthony Prohaska. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Thank you for having me. And I got to say, we talked about it, I think, the first week that they were a sponsor. I'm just really digging the Northeast Roofing Professionals logo,
Great
like
logo,
here on the YouTube. It's just very Denver Nuggets-esque, like we talked about. I like the color scheme, the feel. It's just, I really hope the sponsorship lasts for a while. I really dig it. Like I look at it every time I join the stream. I just like it a lot.
All right. Well, we're trying to kick butt for these guys, so you got to kick some butt. But yeah, I like even the translucency, the transparency of that logo. It's just
a really good logo.
It's really nice. I look up there.
I focus. Yeah, that's it. Look at. I focus on things like that. Like I'm a sucker for a good, like a really clever like name or a good logo. Like I'm always like the creativity that went into it, or if there's like a good pun or something clever. Yeah, like, and that's just this one's it's just really good. It feels cozy and homey. The color scheme is nice. Really well done.
All right, Anthony. Well, I've got a few things planned for you today. Let me start with the news, and then we're going to play a kind of a game. You know, we'll have a little fun today, dare I say. Okay, so that's all coming your way here. All right, let's start with the news, and that is that we all know that the Buffalo Bills, one of their top, if not their top, off-season thing has to be to solve their wide receiver woes. After all, we heard in the Terry Pegula press conference, / Brandon Beane press conference that turned into the Terry Pegula press conference, how pressing a need it seems that the wide receiver situation is. And so there are two receivers who are allegedly going to be on the market. One is definitely going to be on the market. That's Tyreek Hill, who is being let go by the Miami Dolphins. And the other one is the one, the only, the indomitable Mike Evans, who did get banged up last year, but has proven to be one of the most durable guys and apparently wants to keep playing football. And if Evans is going to have his choice, and it looks like he likely will, why wouldn't he choose a team with a terrific quarterback? And certainly the Buffalo Bills fit that bill. So, Anthony, tell me, do you want either one of them? Should the Bills be craving either one of these two receivers, both with different fleas, dare I say?
I would welcome Mike Evans. He's been a captain and a leader on that Bucs team for forever. I still think, I know he's like 32 years old, and he has a bit of an injury history. I wish I knew this ahead of time. And I talked about it on my show last night. I told myself to look it up, and I didn't. I would say probably for about the first 9 seasons of Mike Evans's career, I had him on my main fantasy team, probably 8 of those first 9 years. I was a regular, like Mike Evans was the wide receiver that was like always available in like round 3 for me. I go running back early, or I'd go running back. And then Mike Evans would usually be like the first receiver I'd get in round 3 or maybe in round 4. And he would get banged up a bunch, especially come like playoff time or fantasy playoff time. So I know he has some injury history. He got injured last year. I know he's 32. I still just think he's a quality receiver. I was watching some of his tape last night. He's beaten Derek Stingley one-on-one for the Texans. Stingley is, the only reason he's not the best corner in football, hands down, is because Pat Surtain is in the league, but it's him and Surtain as the best corners in the league. He's beaten him. He's mossing guys. Like, he's a crafty route runner. He knows how to set guys up, play with leverage, win with body position. He can still go up and get it, the length, the size, the frame, everything. I also think he can get downfield a bit more than he gets credit for from a separation standpoint. And then if it is a contested catch, like, hey, go make a play for me type of deal, he can go make a play for you. So I would welcome Mike Evans. They would just need speed in this wide receiver room, deep speed, verticality, field stretching, spacing. So you would still need to address that. Now, you could get Mike Evans and then get someone in the draft. You could get Mike Evans, and I'm going to keep using this example because his skill set fits so well. You get Mike Evans and Rashid Shaheed. You still need to get some speed element. And that's not even necessarily a knock on Mike Evans. I think they need multiple receivers. They need multiple top of the depth chart wide receivers or perfect skill set fits. So I would welcome Mike Evans 1,000%. Tyreek Hill, I'm a hard no. Just from an on the field standpoint, that knee injury last year, he dislocated his knee, really gruesome, dislocated the knee. He had ligament damage. He tore his ACL. There may be other work that needs to get done. You don't know what kind of version of Tyreek Hill you're going to get this year. Like, his whole game is speed and change of direction, and he absolutely destroyed his knee. So I don't know what kind of version he's going to be of himself in 2026. Is it more like you sign him now and then you see what you get in 2027? And then, not to get too off the field, but he's an absolute garbage human being, and I wouldn't want him anywhere.
Well, don't hold back, Anthony. Please let loose.
I mean, there's been allegations, but there's been hard charges. It's pretty easy. You can go look up his history going back to Oklahoma State and why he was dismissed from the Oklahoma State football team. I just think he's a bad human, and I know professional athletes in general are not the best character people or people from a morality standpoint, and you can dig and poke at anyone and everyone, but there's pretty hard, ugly confirmation with Tyreek Hill. And so for me, he's just a hard no from that perspective. And then again, even from an on the field perspective, that knee injury was pretty gruesome. Like, so that's also kind of a little worrisome for me as well.
All right. Oh, let's bring Paul into the equation there. I knew Paul was going to join us a little bit late. There he is. As projected.
You want to by the way, yeah, I do. I love it. No, not on
here. Go ahead.
No, not on Tyreek Hill, actually. But no, I love some of Anthony's suggestions that the Bills need more wide receivers help. I love the suggestion of Rashid Shaheed. Way to get him 3 months late. That's phenomenal. Yeah, great. Oh, that'd be wonderful for you there, Anthony.
Yeah, it would be nice. Or like somebody like it would be even better, actually. It would be like to have a stud wide receiver like Garrett Wilson and then just never get him a quarterback who can throw him the football ever with regularity. So yeah, everybody's got their warts. It's just it's tough from time to time.
Well, I love the t-shirts you guys are showing. Me and Lurch went over to Bill's training camp, and everyone eats. Like, that's great. We don't need a number one receiver. Everyone eats. Yeah. That's
it's
great.
Crazy
that
too.
It worked great. Yeah,
it did. I mean, considering like even with how terrible everything worked out with that, like losing in overtime in a very questionable way in the divisional round of the playoffs to the 1 seed.
Oh, moral victories. Nice.
No,
where do they hang that banner? The new stadium probably has some room for the new banners, right?
They do. You know what has even more room is MetLife, because nobody shows up to those games because the Jets are terrible.
City Miracle? Where do they hang that one?
What do the Jets hang in their stadium besides dirty laundry because nobody shows up there and everything is terrible?
Oh.
What do they hang there? Does Woody Johnson need more Madden fantasy advice from his kids to decide who to sign?
This was really nice civil discourse until Paul joined.
Oh, was it? I didn't know.
It's completely uncivil discourse is what this has become. Although I'm not surprised between these two.
Just mean-spirited. It's not me. It's Paul.
To deal with
okay. Yeah. Play the blame game. Nice.
Everything was fun and nice and civil. We were talking about how great the Northeast Roofing Professionals logo is. Everything was fun.
It is very nice. It reminds me of like Denver Nuggets. You sort of have sort of the mountain atmosphere.
Okay.
That's sort of the vibe I get.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what you said. Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Often, great minds think alike. Every once in a while, every blind squirrel can find a nut, I guess. All right, there you go. Nice.
Yeah, broken clock is right 2 times a day.
Well, I told Anthony that today, Paul, we're going to delve in a little game, just kind of like we did yesterday. I mean, why not just extend the game? The game today has a slightly different name, but it's the same game. Okay, so yesterday with our friend Matt Lombardo, we went through some players in the NFL, some of the high-profile players. We picked 7 of them who, are candidates to be franchise tagged.
Sure, yeah.
Well, the Bills have some guys potentially, I guess, that could do that. But more importantly, they have guys they have to make a decision on. And their decision is sign or no sign.
Oh, great. I love this game.
We will play today, sign or no sign with Anthony. Excuse me for just a second. I'm just going to kill my video here. You'll still hear me for a second. I just need to get into costume before we do this. So
wow.
There's a lot of themes, a lot of thematics happening today.
No sign. Okay, and I am in costume, so let me just
that was quick change.
I want it to be like a dramatic change where he's in like a
if he was, I would lose it like a suit and a mask and I'd be like, whoa. Yeah. Not just like glasses or something.
Something that 1 would be a dramatic change, but 2, like Be like, how did you get changed so fast? Like, how did you make that happen?
Editing magic. We could have
Yeah.
paused it, and he could have like jumped in a completely different thing. So okay,
Well,
here he is. He says he's ready.
It is very, it's definitely. I should put up the little picture of me.
Yeah, there you go. That's even better than what do you like? Just created a Twitter in 2010.
Yeah,
like
just
you have
like
an egg there. Come on, man. All right, go ahead.
So there I am before I come up here in costume. Now it's a very dramatic costume. That's why I needed so much time to change here. All right, and before I pop up, I will throw out the first person. Okay, so I have a list of players.
Oh, okay.
All right, and the question is sign or no sign. Okay, and Anthony, you answer after I dare I say ask the question. Sure. All right, so let's look at some of the free agents. The Bills have quite a few of them on their list, and the first one I'm going to go to on the list is Joey Bosa, the defensive end. Here's a guy that the Bills went out and got to get some pass rushing help, and he's a free agent, so they could bring him back or not. So let me appear on the screen and ask you the question. Anthony Prohaska.
Whoa, Jesus. Wow. Okay.
Or no sign?
He's a no sign for me. He was very much an edge one through the majority of the season, and then the Chiefs game, I think week 8, like first week of November, he hurts his hand, and he was playing with one hand the majority of the season for the back half of the season, really majority in general. He got a couple other injuries that he picked up. And unfortunately for him, it was just kind of the same old, right? Like when he's healthy, he's awesome. And when he's not healthy, he's significantly hindered, and he's just really never healthy. And so that was worrisome. And it was part of the reason why their pass rush really hurt and disappeared a little down the stretch. And you couple that with the defensive change, I'd like a little more speed and bend and dip at the edge position, a little more front versatility and flexibility from a coverage standpoint, a gamesmanship standpoint. So for me, it's a no sign.
All right. Second guy here. AJ Epinesa, pass rusher, developed by the Buffalo Bills. Anthony Prohaska, I ask you, sign or no sign?
I think AJ Epinesa is a fine rotational player. Like it depends on what your edge room looks like. But if you have a solid top 2 guys, I think AJ Epinesa is a very fine 3 or ideal. Like he's a low end 3, high end 4, which I think is great for the right team. For the Bills, I don't think it's that. Again, they need something different from that archetype. We'll see what Michael Hoyt is this season coming off the Achilles injury, what version of him they get or how much of him they get. But again, you need to kind of get away from those bigger compression type of archetypes. You need more athleticism, some juice, some bend, some explosion, a little bit of a different type of body type, archetype, play style, skill set at that edge spot. I think Epinesa is more of a continual move in that direction. So I'm fine with him as a player, but it would be a no sign for me, just given what the rest of the edge room looks like and the new defense that's coming in.
All right, let's stay on the defensive line. And wait, let me do the lurch. Let me do the.
I'll do it for you if you want. Just
hang on tight.
Give out the information, and I'll do it for you. Oh,
oh boy!
Have the same effect.
Sign or no sign, Daquan Jones.
Daquan is a no for me. I think he had a better season last year than he gets credit for. I would just like to move into a different direction from a front perspective. He's not a horrible fit. He played some 3-tech and some 1-tech last year for them. Now if you're doing odd front stuff, he can work as a 4-eye. He's done that before. But he's had injury concerns the past couple of years. The miles on the tires are starting to show a little bit. If he could stay healthy, fine, but they really need to be able to have some guys up front that they can hang their hat on from a consistency standpoint and an availability standpoint. And I don't think Daquan is that at this point in his career. And then there's also depending on how much this matters for you or not, but he was decently negative with some tweets or some comments on social media towards the end of once the season was done, which made me think he's already not coming back or he doesn't want to. I don't read into that. I'm not one of those like, oh, so-and-so unfollowed the team that he's on. That must mean he's going somewhere else. Like, I'm not that guy, but he was pretty, significantly demonstrative in what he was saying and how he was talking, which made me think, he's not coming back or he doesn't want to. And then even if he did, I would just still like to go in another direction. So I'm going no sign.
By the way, did you start off the answer? Did you give me a little Randy Jackson there? It's a no for me, dog. Are you working some of that in there?
No, I don't think I said that. I should have, though.
Sort of the way the delivery was, it did.
I should have. No, I don't think I said dog. I definitely said I do think I said it's going to be a no from me. I didn't say the dog.
So I sort of sense those vibes. I don't know if you're going to channel some Shark Tank in for those reasons. I'm out.
This could be a combination of American Idol, Shark Tank, and Deal or No Deal.
Yeah,
I should have.
Okay. All right. Next one on my list, Anthony. This guy's been a mainstay for the Buffalo Bills. He's had some injury problems, but he still has been an important player. Linebacker Matt Milano. Anthony Prohaska. Sign or no sign?
This one hurts my heart, but no sign. I just don't think his fit, I think, isn't ideal in this defense now. I think you've already got Terrell Bernard and you're committed to him long-term. And there are already some question marks with Terrell Bernard, right? From a block deconstruction standpoint, from a size and frame and injury history standpoint and health standpoint, how you kind of have to protect him in the defense, given his play style, skill set, size, frame, everything. So you already have that. And then coupled with Milano's injury history that he's had recently, that's really kind of, he keeps getting, it's not even like soft muscle injuries, like where it's like, oh, he's always got a hamstring or a quad. He keeps getting these like crazy, like he tore a bicep, he broke his leg. It's all these injuries that are like kind of fluky, but are significant. But they just keep continuously happening to him. So that's also worrisome. And then he's a bit undersized. They're moving to this odd front defense or working more odd front structures into their game. I think they need a little more thump at that linebacker spot. They need more of a downhill block deconstruction presence, and ideally somebody who can also rush off the edge, not just from a juicer of a velociraptor standpoint like Milano can, but somebody who can win one-on-one versus the tackle, who you can put as your edge in a 4-down even front and have them, work one-on-one and beat a tackle as an actual rusher, and then drop back into an off-ball standpoint if you go into base looks or odd front stuff. So I just don't think the injury history and the current fit is ideal for Milano, especially because Bernard already has a spot and is in a similar boat. So it's a sad no sign for me from Milano.
Hey, Anthony, real quick here. I know how much you probably enjoy watching Harrison Phillips in a Jets uniform. Sal Capaccio told me this a couple of years ago. We were at Bill's training camp. I don't know where we were, where he said it, but he said, hey, did you know that Matt Milano's family grew up Jet fans and Matt Milano is a Jet fan? I went, wow, shoot, I didn't know that. So maybe you'll see him very soon, Anthony Prohaska.
That wouldn't bother me. I mean, good for Milano. I hope he goes on and keeps playing. I would hate for him to have to go and experience a ton of losing wherever he goes next. So that would be unfortunate for him. Yeah, I mean, if you guys aren't going to bring back Quincy Williams and you want to replace him with Matt Milano, that, you could do worse if he's healthy. If he's healthy, he's going to be good. It's just a matter of if he's healthy, and then kind of what you're doing with him.
All right, Anthony, another member of the linebacking core, one of the coolest names in all of football, Shaq Thompson. Anthony Prohaska. Sign or no sign?
He would be a sign for me. I think he can work that the defense that they employed last year. He can work in that. He can work as an inside linebacker in a 3-4. The only thing I don't like is, because of the miles on the tires and really all the injuries, there are some limitations in coverage with him. And then you're not going to get a true rush presence from him. He can blitz, he can come downhill as a blitzer or as like a run fitter and take on some blocks and shed and do some things like that. We saw the benefit of what that added to the defense when he replaced Terrell Bernard and even when he played alongside him last year. But I do think you need someone with a little more true rush capability, but I would welcome him back in a heartbeat in the same role as last year. I think he might get paid though somewhere else to maybe be an actual starter. And so I don't think he's the right fit holistically to start. It wouldn't be a horrible option though, even though you don't have the rush upside. But I would welcome Shaq Thompson back. He would be a sign for me.
Sure, Shaq is a cool name, but there's been a lot of Shaqs. Let me give you a real cool name of a Bills free agent. What about Larry Ogunjobi, baby? Huh? What about some of that action on the defensive line? How many Ogunjobis do you know, Lurch? I would imagine not many. Anthony?
It'd be funny if he was like, "Oh, I know 4." Or
I know my brother. I don't know an Ogunjobi.
Oh, okay. Uncle, that's fair. It's a no sign for me, dog, with Ogunjobi. I know the scheme fit, what he was with as in an even front previously before he went to Pittsburgh, and then he played as more of like a 4-eye and an odd front. And so you might sit and be like, oh, hey, well, like maybe he's more of a fit in this defense with what he was for Pittsburgh more recently. But I didn't love him as a signing last year. And then his play was underwhelming. He was pretty good against the run, though. He was good from a run stop perspective and like a percentage standpoint. But there just wasn't really much juice from a pass rush standpoint. I don't think it's horrible to bring him and kind of put him as a 4-eye in this defense and then also let him work on the interior. But again, I think you can go with higher floor, higher ceiling options along with some more versatility in that spot. The money that you would likely have to give to him, I think you could give to someone else who could give you more effectiveness across multiple alignments and multiple spots. So for me, it would be a no sign for him.
You're listening to the Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital at MC Show Digital. Don't forget to pop that subscribe button. And as you see that little scroll below us, we have some membership levels as well. You can help support the channel. So if you're already a subscriber, jump in on the membership levels. You get some really cool perks. We are presented by Northeast Roofing Professionals, and today's video is brought to you by our friends at Sharky's. So let's just take a moment, learn a little bit more about them. We'll be right back.
If you plan on throwing a party, whether it's a wedding, clam bake, birthday party, graduation party, a party, company picnic, oh, and did I mention clam bake? Sharky's is your party headquarters with 3 indoor options and a plethora of outdoor options as well. All in a park-like setting with a big stage and over 7,000 square feet of covered pavilion. So rain or shine, we've got you covered. Book your next party now. Go to Sharky'sBanquets.com. Sharky's in Liverpool, making parties historic every single year.
Finding the right local roofing company can be tricky. You don't want to hire the wrong roofers, or you could end up spending a fortune on repairs. The pros at Northeast Roofing Professionals can ensure your home is protected by a strong and sturdy roof. Locally owned and operated, over 30 years experience, free estimates, and competitively priced. Don't settle for an inexperienced roofing contractor. Turn to Northeast Roofing Professionals. Discounts for military and first responders. Reach out and let them put a sturdy roof over your head. NERPCNY.com. NERPCNY.com.
All right, we are back. Manchild Show with Boy Green Digital. We'll talk with Anthony Prohaska, our Bills insider from Cover One, and we're playing a little game called Sign or No Sign, a little off-take of the show Deal or No Deal, where we are giving Anthony free agent or fringe guys on the Buffalo Bills roster, and he has to decide whether or not the Bills will sign the guy or, dare I say, let him go. Let me move inside next, Anthony, to the Hog Mollies. Always a question. I'm going to throw 2 together on the table. You can divide them up however you want. Connor McGovern, their center. David Edwards, their left guard. Anthony Prohaska, sign or no sign?
I would sign them both. I just think it's going to be too hard to do that. I don't even know I think they have a fair enough shot to sign one. Even that, I think, is going to be tough. Edwards came to Buffalo as a depth signing and a rotational guy with Aaron Kromer. He's a Kromer disciple type of deal. He was the 6th offensive lineman a couple of years ago, and then he took over and became a starter after free agency saw their starting left guard leave. And he's performed really well, really technically sound, smart, good from a mental standpoint in adjusting based on what you're seeing up front, good communicator, and then just really good hand usage, really good technique, and leverage play, all that kind of stuff. Connor McGovern, really good length for a center, also really smart, good and important with adjusting to the fronts and calling things out. I would sign both of them. I think it's going to be tough to sign. There's no way they sign both. I think it's going to be tough to even sign one. You've also got Alec Anderson kind of waiting in the wings a little bit. He was their 6th offensive lineman a couple years ago. Do you want to plug him in? You could plug him in at center or guard. I think McGovern probably gets paid more, so maybe there's a higher chance Edwards comes back and you plug Anderson in at center. But then you've also, if you're the Bills, you've got Cedric Van Prank-Granger, the center out of Georgia they drafted a couple years ago, a little bit undersized, but really good movement, really smart dude as well, which is what you want in a center. So for me, it really comes down to, what the Bills think they have internally, because if you can answer it with Van Prank-Granger and Anderson, then you're good to go. You just got to add some depth. Cool, let's run it. But I would sign both of them. I just think it's going to be tough to do that, and it's going to be tough to even bring back one.
Oh, the destruction of the Buffalo Bills offensive line.
Yeah, and too, especially when you have to deal with guys like Milton Williams and Christian Barmore and Quinnen Williams in the division. Oh, wait, no. Sorry. Oh, and Leonard Williams in the no, that's wrong.
Well, that's interesting. Okay. Well,
Who did the Jets? Who? John
Yeah,
Franklin. Nope.
yeah, that's weird.
At least Will McDonald's working out. No.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. Interesting.
Who else
Hey,
did it?
let's do another sign or no sign. Let's pluck the heartstrings, although Anthony doesn't have one of those, so I don't know if I'm just plucking at an empty hole in his chest. But what about Tre'Davious White? Sign or no sign?
Absolutely a sign.
Ooh.
And I think whether it's him or anybody, they need a strong corner three. Christian Benford's been banged up throughout his career. Max Hairston got hurt multiple times this past season. Plus, he's a smaller frame kind of guy. And corner just in general in the NFL, those dudes are bound to get banged up. Like they're seeing a lot of snaps, they're getting a lot of contact in a variety of ways. You need a solid corner three. And especially in this defense where their corners are going to tackle, their corners are going to be asked to take on a lot of physical tasks. I would welcome Tre'Davious White back. He had a really strong finish to the year. Even towards the beginning of the year when he was kind of getting some flack from Bills fans, I didn't think it was deserved. He was blitzing. He was stopping the run. He was making plays in coverage. He was phenomenal in that Jacksonville game, as a lot of folks have noticed at this time. I mean, one of the biggest plays of the game against Denver is him going down for one play and then replacing it with Dane Jackson, and the Broncos attacking Dane Jackson immediately for a touchdown on that double move. I know Trey had the penalty late in that game, but yeah, I would welcome Tre'Davious White back. I think he's a tremendous, even though again, McDermott's gone and that defensive coaching staff is going. He's just an important culture guy. The team loves him. The city loves him, and he's an effective player. He's smart. He knows what's up. He's good in match coverages. I think that would translate well to Leonard's defense. He's good in single high coverage structures. I think that would translate well. I think he's a really ideal corner three, especially with how he played last year. But whether it's him or somebody else, they have to shore up that spot because corner three is going to play for them one way or another.
Talking with Anthony Prohaska, cover one our Bills insider. We're playing a little game of sign or no sign. A lot of decisions to be made by the Buffalo Bills this offseason. Let's move on over to the pass catchers, Anthony. A very controversial position for the Buffalo Bills over the course of the last season. Let's start with the tight ends. I'll put them together. You can separate them if you want. They have to make a decision on Dalton Kincaid. And if they were to jettison off Dawson Knox, they could get $10 million nearly in cap space. So it's an interesting maneuver here by the Bills if they decided to jettison off the guy that's been with them for 7 years. So my question on the tight ends, Anthony Prohaska, sign or no sign?
Everything with Knox is kind of wonky. Especially depending on when you release him, when you trade him, like whatever you do, if you do like the post June 1st stuff, even if you do some pre-June 1st work, like it's still a dead cap of like 7.4 million this year from a release standpoint. If you do it from now through March 15th, and then it kind of balances out even between dead cap and savings from March 15th to June 1st. And then after, if you do a post June 1st release or trade, you save about 11 million, but you get a dead cap of 6.5 this year and 2.3 next year, which isn't crazy. And again, you save 11 this year. He's a weird one because he shouldn't be paid as much as he is. His cap hit is too much for what he is, but he's important to the tight end room. He's really kind of like a good bridge between Kincaid and Hawes. Kincaid is not someone you can line up in line on the line of scrimmage. If you are, you're not running towards him. Like you're not going to put Kincaid on the right side of the line and then run duo towards him. Like you're just not going to do that. He can't hold up against defensive ends or even like thumping kind of linebackers or downhill safeties like that. He can block out in space. He can take on a nickel or a corner or get the right leverage on a guy, but you don't want him trying to hold up at the point of attack in the run, attached to the line of scrimmage. And so that's kind of a telling in of itself. Oh, if he's on the line, they're probably running mid-zone away from him, hoping he can wash somebody down and Cook cuts back or whatever. And then you have Jackson Hawes, who really strong rookie performance. I think he's a better pass catcher than he maybe gets credit for. Tremendous blocker, but he's still not the pass catching option that Kincaid is or even Knox is, right? So you can't take Kincaid and line him up in line and run towards him. You can't take Hawes and really split him out wide or even put him in the slot and throw to him. But you can do all of those things with Dawson Knox. You can put him in line a little bit and he can block. You can split him out. You can put him in the slot. He's really a good bridge between Kincaid and Hawes. I'm still torn on him. I don't want him on the team at the cap hit that he has and the cost that he has. So in an ideal world, I'd love for him to take a pay cut or you do some kind of restructure that works for you. I do think they need him given the direction of the offense and what they want to do. And especially considering, even if Kincaid and Hawes were healthy all the time and he was the bridge, they'd still need him. But Kincaid gets hurt a whole bunch. So you need Dawson Knox even more. Plus he's like Allen's best friend. And there's that aspect within it, which muddies the waters. I think they should keep him. I think he just needs to take a pay cut or restructure. They can't keep him at the money they have now. I'd rather cut him than do that, which is really unfortunate because I do think they need him. And if they get rid of him, you have to replace him with a similar skill set right away.
Here's a name that Bills fans, one way or the other, have an opinion on. What about DeMar Hamlin? Sign or no sign?
No, I'm good. No sign. I just don't think
heartless.
No, not heartless. I think the hype for him early on got super overblown. He had a couple good games where he was tackling well and people were labeling him like the future at the safety spot for the team and all these things. But his athletic profile is just really limited. You don't get much in coverage from him. And especially if you're moving towards a defense that is a little more match coverage based and is going to play more single high, he's not built to be a single high post safety. Like Cole Bishop isn't really either. Like Cole Bishop has the range and the athleticism to play the single high post safety role because he has the athleticism and the range, but he doesn't really have the processing. Hamlin has more of the processing, but he doesn't have the athleticism in any way, shape, or form. So I don't think he's a good pairing with Bishop. And I'm just ready to. I don't think he's a starting safety in the NFL. I think he's fine as a depth guy. If they want to bring him back and have him be safety 4, sure. I think at best he's kind of a spot starter or a low rotational guy. But yeah, it's a no sign for me.
All right, Anthony, back to pass catchers here. How about 60% of the wide receiving core? I'll lay all 3 of them out. Give me your answer. Curtis Samuel, Josh Palmer, and of course, Keon Coleman. Anthony Prohaska. Sign.
Wait.
No sign.
Whoa. The blatant slander? Where's Gabe Davis on that list? Where's Gabe Davis?
Well, he's recovering from a major ACL surgery. So we'll kind of see what that looks like for him coming back. Starting with Samuel. Samuel is an easy cut candidate for me. You can only designate 2 guys to be a post-June 1st cut, but he would be a big one for me. If you release him after June 1st, it's a dead cap hit of 2.7 this year and 1.7 next year, but you save 6.8 this year. I thought he was going to be used more given his success in Carolina when Joe Brady was in Carolina. And then they made it a point to go out and get him like right away that offseason. And the injuries are one thing, but even when he's been in the lineup, they haven't used him a ton. Granted, when he's been in the lineup, he hasn't really been 100% or maybe even 90%. So he's been banged up too much. They haven't used him a ton. You can save a good chunk of change by moving on from him. So Samuel is a cut candidate for me. I'm out there. Josh Palmer, I think, can still work. I'm going to say the same thing about Josh Palmer that I said last year. I think he is a good separator in the underneath and in the intermediate. I think he's someone that can win vertical within scheme or structure, and he can use some deception a little bit in his route stems to kind of win vertical. He's just the biggest thing for Josh Palmer, and I don't even know if I guess it's tied to him, but I don't even necessarily think it's his fault, is the Bills needed him to be like a wide receiver 1, and they brought him in to be a wide receiver 1 or a wide receiver 2, and he's really been a career wide receiver 3, maybe even like a wide receiver 4 who can moonlight as a wide receiver 3 or a wide receiver 2, depending on the offense. But I think monetarily, he's not going anywhere. You incur more dead cap this year than you save if you release him. If you trade him, then it's only a dead cap hit of 1.6 this year, and you save $10.1 million. Then it's a dead cap hit of 4.8 next year. So if they can trade him after June 1st, they free up a ton of money. Like, I would not be opposed to that in any way, shape, or form. I just don't know what team is going to want to do that. So if they could trade him, I'd be fine for that. I think he's very fine as a wide receiver 3 in this offense. Like, if you get somebody, you need somebody above him and then another somebody above him, and then have Palmer, Shakir, and Keon Coleman after that. The biggest issue is just having Palmer needing to be a top of the depth chart guy because he's not that. And then Keon Coleman, I'm not ready to cut bait on him yet. I also don't think you're going to get a lot back for him. Like, what are you going to trade? You're going to trade Keon Coleman and get a 6th-round pick or a 5th-round pick. Like, I don't know if that's necessarily the value. I'd rather keep him and have him be a bottom of the depth chart guy and hope he can maybe turn it around. I don't think him being a bottom of the depth chart guy hurts you at all. And again, he's another guy who maturity issues and professionalism are something that he should and can control. But it's also something the Bills should have sussed out a little bit in the interview process. But again, he kind of similar to Palmer. Coleman, one of his biggest things is the Bills drafted him, a receiver that was a known project, that was a known guy that needed time to develop. And they took him for a Super Bowl contender and were like, hey, we need you to be a top of the depth chart wide receiver right away. And it's like, he just started playing full-time football a couple seasons ago. Like, you can't, that's a really big ask and a really tall task for him. So I don't think the Bills necessarily set him up for success, and he hasn't set himself up for success. So that's a mess, but I don't really think you're going to get the value for cutting bait on him now. And I don't really think you're hurting yourself at all by keeping him around and seeing if he turns it around. So I'd keep him. If you could trade Palmer after June 1st, I would. I just think that's going to be tough. And then releasing him doesn't really do much for you. It hurts you more than it helps you from a roster standpoint and a money standpoint. And then Curtis Samuel, I would designate as a post-June 1st cut, and I would move on from there.
I mean, I don't disagree with your sentiment on Keon Coleman. The problem is the owner has thrown him under the bus and run him over 3 times, Anthony. I mean, I don't know that the player can stomach staying with the Bills and trying to get his act together, because he does need to get his act together, and he's either going to do it in Buffalo or he's probably going to get a chance to do it somewhere else.
Fair. And that sucks. Like, you should not have, your coaching staff or your owner should not be calling out any players like in a presser, especially one where like the presser is a significant one where you're talking about why you fired your long-term, like long-standing head coach. So like Pagula was 1,000% wrong for that. But you can play devil's advocate and be like, well, everything with Keon, it's been off the field stuff. Like, dude can't do the basic thing, which is show up to practice or show up on time. Like, that's a non-negotiable for anybody across any team. But yeah, Pagula's 100% wrong for that. We'll see how Keon feels about it. But also Keon has he has no leverage. Like, he and his agent have no leverage. Like, what are they going to do? Like, force a trade or force him out? Like, nobody's clamoring for him right now. Maybe you have a team who liked him a couple years ago or likes his body type and skill set and wants to bring him in, but I don't think there's a lot of leverage on his standing. The best thing he can do is turn it around himself and either ball out for the Bills and work out for the Bills, or turn it around, start to ball out, and then have somebody want to trade for him if he really wants to force his way out. Either way, he just needs to shape up and get better, whether it's for the Bills or for himself, so he can go somewhere else.
It doesn't surprise me that Anthony Prohaska likes keeping guys on the roster that constantly show up late to meetings. That's the kind of guys he likes surrounding himself with. Makes a lot of sense.
Weren't you late to this? Weren't you late to this one?
That's a great point. Yeah, you are not in any position right now.
Weren't you late? Weren't you late to
that
this?
is really the last laugh for Anthony.
Weren't you late last week too? Are you the Keon Coleman of this show? Is that what's happening right now?
So I have a lot of potential that you want to build around. I'm just so talented that you're going to try to see past it.
Yeah, but you're not on your rookie deal anymore. You're on a veteran contract, and you should know better. So I'd probably just cut you and save the money.
Wow, didn't expect that follow up. All right, anywho, let me quickly, move over to the all important QB2, Mitch Trubisky. Are you ready to lock him in behind JA-17?
I'm not completely opposed to it. I would like a solid QB2. I say this every year. Like, I'd love for them to draft a quarterback in like the 6th round or something, and then we can just have a solid QB2 in development for like 4 years under Allen. It really seems like the QB2 role is just Josh Allen's best friend or whoever Josh Allen likes. It's somebody he just wants to be in the quarterback room with, which I get and I understand. I'm not completely opposed to Trubisky. I don't love it. I would still like to have some kind of oomph back there, or hope that if Allen goes down, you have somebody who can manage a little bit. But if Josh Allen goes down, the Bills are probably screwed anyway, so it's kind of whatever. I'd be fine with Trubisky, but I would be fine with them kind of going somewhere else. I don't think Shane Buechele is the guy to be the 2, so they do need to have a solid 2 behind him.
Anthony, let's go to the secondary here. Let's talk some secondary guys. I feel like I'm mentioning the entire Bills roster. They have a lot of decisions to make this offseason. All right, secondary. We got one guy in rehab. That's Taylor Rapp, okay, a safety who has some potential, but are they willing to wait this whole thing out? He supposedly is doing pretty well in his rehab, or so I hear. And then the corner, Teron Johnson. So I ask you, Anthony Prohaska, sign or no sign?
Taylor Rapp for me is a cut candidate. They can release him for before June 1st and save around $3 million, and the dead cap hit is under $1 million, depending on, between now and March 15th, or then March 15th or June 1st, depending on when you do it. If they designate him, as a post June 1st cut, you save, again, around $3 million, dead cap hit of under $1 million. I don't mind him being on the team. I'm fine if he's safety 3. I don't think he should be the starter. I don't think he pairs well with Bishop. I didn't think he paired well with Cole Bishop last year. I think he pairs less than that this year from an ideal standpoint with Cole Bishop. Again, if they're going to play more single high coverage structures under Jim Leonard, if they're going to play more match coverage structures, I just don't think Rapp has the range, the foot speed, the athleticism to live in a single high world. Even from a 2 high standpoint, it's rough at times. So for me, he's a cut candidate, save about $3 million, move on, put that towards a nose tackle, put that towards Roy Lopez and sign Roy Lopez for $3.5 million or something like that. I think you can take that $3 million and repurpose it in a more ideal way. But I'm not opposed to him staying on and being safety 3. I just don't think he should be a starter or the starter for this team. But yeah, so if push came to shove, it would be a no sign or it would be a cut for me.
All right. And again, more heartstring action here. What about your boy Jordan Poyer?
I'd be a no sign. I don't think he's got the wheels left. He played decently well for the Bills this year, which I think is a testament to him, but also says a lot about the state of their safety room and maybe the state of the defense. I think he's, again, a fine as a person to have in the room of that depth, all that kind of stuff. But, if it's the sign to be a starter, absolutely not. If it's signed to bring him in and have him around from a vet perspective, cool. But then you also wonder, a lot of the value he brought was knowing Sean McDermott's defense in and out. Now Sean McDermott isn't there. So how much does that presence really matter or carry? So I think for a lot of it's a no sign, unfortunately. But obviously appreciate him for being one of the dudes who helped turn this thing around for years.
Thank you for squeezing that in at the end of your answer. Yeah, totally get rid of. But yeah, thanks, dude. Appreciate you.
I don't think it's like that at all. I mean, he's good chunk into his 30s now. He's played a lot of football. There's mileage on the tires. No, cool. It's just a lot of miles on the tires.
Okay. All right. Well, last one here. Brandon Cooks. Are you going to say, hold up, let him cook? You're going to get some Brandon Cooks action in that wide receiver room, huh? Important piece down the stretch for Bills Mafia?
I think it would be more. Wouldn't it be a hold up and let him cooks more than let him cook? If we're kind of trying
depending, some are singular situations, some are more plural situations.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Plural, like the amount of losing seasons the Jets have had back to back.
Or plural, like the amount of Super Bowls the Bills have lost.
Yeah, that's fair. You could be that. Yeah, at least they got to the dance. I know you guys went to one when there was 4 teams.
Batting 1,000. We've never lost a Super Bowl, buddy.
You're
I know
right.
you don't know what that feels like because you always lose Super Bowls. You're batting 1,000 and losing Super Bowls.
Okay.
I don't think most people know what that feels like with the Jets because when they won it, TV wasn't even really a thing. So it was more
black
like
and white, actually.
Something
and let me tell you this:
you read about in the newspaper that a boy on the corner handed to you to say, "Hey, the Jets won it." People are like, "Who are the Jets? What's football?"
I would rather never go to a Super Bowl again than go to one and lose. I'd rather just die on my batting 1,000 hill for the rest of my life.
Sounds like you're playing scared, but I guess that tracks.
Okay.
It's okay to be scared. It's okay to be a coward. That's fine. I mean, you like the finale of Stranger Things, so your taste is obviously very questionable at best.
It's a wine. It's gotten better with age.
It has not.
Season finale.
No, it's not. It's gotten worse.
Than it was
it's gotten
the
worse.
Time.
It's gotten absolutely worse. And the Duffers speaking makes it absolutely worse. I forgot who we're talking about.
Yeah, Brandon Cooks.
Oh yeah,
Cooks, are you going to throw him in a Duffer bag? Or
I would bring Brandon Cooks back.
Nice.
His performance down the stretch again is a testament to him. Also, a state of the wide receiver room, similar to kind of how the Poyer and safety action was. But I think Cooks adds value. He's still got some speed. He's not the 4.3 sub 4.4 guy that he was early in his career, but he can still move a little bit. He's a crafty route runner. I think he's a good dynamic that he could add to the room. It's just more of a middle or lower part of the depth chart than it is wide receiver 1 or wide receiver 2 like it was down the stretch. And I think there's a possibility for that, right? Tyrell Shavers is probably out for the year or a good chunk of it with his ACL injury. If you let go of Samuel and you're looking at a wide receiver room of like Shakir, Cooks, Coleman, Palmer, 2 other guys, or if you really want to have a solid 5, you can still bench Coleman, or maybe you do trade Palmer. I think Cooks is a good guy to have in the room for his skill set and, what he was for this team down the stretch.
All right. Anthony Prohaska, thank you for playing Sign or No Sign.
It was a good time. It was stressful. It was hot under these bright lights.
Yeah, it was not until, someone showed up late. That was it. It was moving along very swimmingly before that.
It was. Things were good.
Thanks as always, Anthony. Of course, we will talk to you again next week.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate you. Enjoy your day.